And our concluding segment of First News Forum with State Senator Jay Paul Gumm. A press release came out here, I guess it was today, about an ethics commission they're calling for an ethics commission investigation against Representative Lance Cargill, Republican State House Committee, and the Oklahoma County Republican Committee for possible criminal charges. That's coming from the Democratic Party chair, Ivan Holmes.
Certainly.
You know a little bit about, I guess you've dealt a little bit with Mr. Holmes as
Certainly.
well as the Republican Party chair. We'll read this to you. It says, today I'm asking the Oklahoma County District Attorney request and review a copy of the State Ethics Commission investigation of Representative Lance Cargill, the Republican State House Committee, and the Oklahoma County Republican Committee for possible criminal charges. According to Holmes, he says the basis for the investigation, he's claiming redirection of campaign contributions intended for one party committee to another committee. In other words, he's charging that money was sent in a way that the donors didn't want it to go.
And that was an Ethics Commission investigation that's been going on over the past couple of years.
We heard about that in the news.
And of course, Representative Cargill is former Speaker Cargill, who lost his job at the beginning of the 2008 session because he had problems paying his taxes, and some other issues that were brought out, and his caucus finally said, enough, we're going to go a different way with Chris Benge, and now we have Speaker Benge instead of Speaker Cargill. That's not a lot of news for those of us who were around that Capitol. We knew that there was something strange going on with the way that the House of Representatives raised money when the Republicans took over. Speaker Cargill, Representative Cargill, was somewhat creative, had a pretty strongly worded reprimand coming out of the Ethics Commission, and of course it's Chairman Holmes' job to put out a press release like that, and you're probably going to see more shots across the bow from Chairman Holmes, and on the Republican side, Chairman Jones, as we get closer to Election Day. As a matter of fact, I think in that press release, Chairman Holmes asked that Chairman Jones join him in showing a light on government. Within a few minutes, Republican Chairman Gary Jones fired back and said, well, what about these contributions that the Senate Democrats are getting from Lawyers for Working Oklahomans? Join me in asking for an investigation of that. So there's a lot of tit for tat back there. The truth of the matter is with Speaker Cargill, the Ethics Commission exhausted their investigation. It was a very strongly worded reprimand, and then of course it's up from that point forward. If a prosecutor wants to go forward, press releases like this aren't going to determine whether that happens.
That's what he's asking out loud.
Absolutely, and that's his job, and that's Gary Jones' job on the other side. But these are issues that should be decided as matters of law, not matters of press releases coming from one political party or the other, and that's how it ought to play out.
What you're in the Senate, but did the tone of the House of Representatives, how did it change under the new Speaker?
When the Republicans took over and Todd Hyatt became Speaker 4 years ago, it was an enormous change. I worked on the House staff for 12 and a half years. It was not a place of partisan hackery. It was a place of professionalism, and it didn't matter who was in charge for most of the staff people. You worked for the institution. It was kind of funny when the Republicans took over, I was asked, how do I feel about the new Republican leadership? Well, let me put it in pretty stark contrast here. On my birthday in 2004, the Republican House leadership fired the best man at my wedding and two of my groomsmen. So you tell me what I thought about the Republican leadership.
Wow.
And it was done for nothing other than partisan politics. These were professionals who, at the end of the day, worked for the institution. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Republican, Democrat, Whig, or Independent. They were going to work for the people of Oklahoma and for the institution. And it set a pretty nasty tone that Speaker Benge, to some degree, has improved upon. You had 2 years of Speaker Hyatt, who was a venal partisan. You had a year of Speaker Cargill, who was Todd Hyatt with a little shine on him. He was just as venal and just as partisan, but he was a better PR guy. And you got Chris Benge, who's a pretty good old boy. He's a pretty good guy. I just have some fundamental policy disagreements with him, primarily on Nick's Law and his refusal to give that a hearing last year. So things are better over at the House under Speaker Benge, but it's still not a place I would want to go back to and work. Let's put it that way.
Presidential race coming up, as we mentioned before, Oklahoma pretty much a shoo-in for McCain.
I would suspect so. I doubt, like you said, we're not going to see much advertising out of either of the campaigns. So We can watch it from afar, and again on election night probably have somebody on TV saying it's all going to come down to either Florida or Ohio or Colorado or Nevada.
Which that brings me to that. Do you expect that 2000 repeat or anything close to it this time around?
I think it's going to be, from an electoral college standpoint, extraordinarily close. Senator McCain's choice of Governor Palin energized his base, who were kind of lukewarm toward the senator. And so Senator Obama starts with 30%, Senator McCain starts with 30%, and the battle is for that 40% in the middle. And every day, more and more of that 40% in the middle starts going one way or the other. And the polls are extraordinarily close right now, and I suspect, CNN has a thing where you can actually play with the states.
Yes. Yeah,
one way I played it out, it came out 269. Neither one got a majority. So it's going to be very close come November, I'm afraid.
And that's possible, too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Isn't that crazy? Give me your thoughts on the Obama-Biden ticket as an Oklahoma Democrat.
Oh, that's a tough one.
From what I study of you, I don't see a whole lot of similarity between your philosophies and, say, the National Party philosophies.
And that's a very fair statement. Like I said, I stay with my district, and I stay with my conscience. And there are some issues with Senator Obama, Senator Biden, where I disagree. They're pro-choice, I'm pro-life. It's going to be a tough sell in Oklahoma, the Obama-Biden ticket. That's not giving away any trade secrets there. Everybody knows It's a tough sell. It's way behind in the polls. I don't think that's the ticket that would have given Oklahoma Democrats the best shot to carry the state for the presidential ticket. It's going to be interesting to see what effect, if any, it has down ballot on the U.S. Senate race, the Corporation Commission races. That'll have any impact on the congressional races. We've got 5 seats. 4 of them are solid, most likely Democrat, Republican. One is solidly most likely Democrat. So doubt it will have much impact there. And of course, being in the state Senate, I always wonder what kind of impact it's going to have on the 3 to 5 races that will determine who controls the Senate. With us being tied 24-24 right now, we could come back and be tied again, or one side have a 1-vote majority. It's going to be a very interesting 6 weeks now.
Well, hope to have you back between now and then, for sure.
Anytime. Enjoy it.
State Senator Jay Paul Gumm, our guest on First News Forum. We are smooth out of time. Have a good week.